All right, this is elementary course building, and I am Rosemary Jane. Ashley Badgett is moderating our chat. As we get started, you can see that she's already put the earn contact hours and feedback form in the chat. In that form, if you want to earn contact hours, you do have to put your first name, your last name, and your employee ID number. Fill out the rest of this survey, please. We really value your feedback. The type of training that you are in right now, if you're here live with me, you are in a joined virtual PD session video conference. If you watch this later on a recording, the option down here, viewed a recorded virtual PD session, is what you would select. All right, we have this scheduled for 1 hour, so it would be this first choice here. And the trainers who are in this call are Ashley Badgett, moderating the chat, and myself, Rosemary Jane. Please do fill out the rating for us and add any additional questions or comments that you have. We really value that. If you're wondering about other sessions like this, you can click on the link right in your contact form, and it will take you to our virtual PD offerings. If it's hard to see, you can click on present to get it in a full screen, and you can see what's on our calendar for the rest of the week. Next week should be posted soon if it's not already there. We also do have virtual extended hours. This evening I have one at 6 p.m. for video creation tools, and I have a placeholder here, so just a heads up, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna actually make this a remote learning Q&A, just live Q&A session. That is what I'm planning to do, just based on reading through feedback and some requests I've gotten. So just so you're aware, the more to come, I'll probably have that filled out this afternoon. It'll probably just be a live Q&A at 8 o'clock tonight. All right, yep, it does look like the next week, the following week has already been posted with some sessions in there. And then these are user guides that you can refer to. All right, and those are our past sessions. So I'm gonna get out of that. If what you need cannot be found there or in your curriculum teams, you can always look here and complete the link for further training requests. So with that, I'm going to get started. You'll be able to find this later on my YouTube channel. If you're just joining us, please mute your side. Okay. And so the elementary course building content was already previously recorded. And so we are going to look at some of the things in this topic, but I'm switching up just a little bit because I've had a request for longer Q&A time. So I'm going to switch up a little bit from this previous agenda. We were going to look at an empty course and how to add content to that. We're gonna do a little bit of that. Debunking the myths, I'm just going to talk about that a little bit. I'm not going to open up that PD presentation. If you want to see it, you can go to this recording. Building content versus pulling in content from resources, archives, or sharing resources. We're going to look at building our content, but we're also going to look at how we can share and pull in other content. Visuals and embedded videos, I will still have that in there. And then some samples of other courses as time allows. So I'm going to intentionally have a little bit more Q&A time in today's session. So right now I'm going to open Schoology and one of my sample courses. I'm just pulling it up on the other screen. It never fails that when I get on a call at any time between 11 and 1, my internet runs slow, so bear with me. And then I clicked the wrong thing. Sorry. Technical difficulties. Okay. So what I'm going to do is pull in this sample course. All right. When we get started building our courses, I do want you to consider the course structure from your students and parents' perspective. So one thing that I encourage you all to do if you've not yet is go into your course menu, find your courses, and instead of having this generic course icon right here, oh, wrong one, sorry. Whew. Instead of having your generic course icon and having all your courses show up like this for your students, change that icon. You can do that very easily. you just click on the course, hover over the course and hit edit picture. And then you can either just change the color to another one of Schoology samples. You can tell by looking at them that this one kind of looks like science. This one kind of looks like math. So you could just pick one of those. Or what I like to do is attach my own custom image. And so I can put something, I have this example I always use for preschool. So if I taught pre-K, I might put that one in. So add any image that you would like. I also do suggest that you add your profile image as well. I know we're talking about course building here, but we're going to look at posting updates. And you want to have your course profile picture, usually a head and shoulders, like a biopic or your school picture will do. That way, when you are in your course and you are posting an update, that update is clearly coming from you for your users. So they can see my face with my name and my message. This is really important, and I've got the research. If anybody wants me to dig it out, I'm willing to. I don't have it at my fingertips right now, but the research shows that when there is a face that goes with the information, that the user of any age is likely to be more engaged in the content. So get that set up first, add a course image, and add a profile image. All right, and we're talking about building course content. And so I'm going to just walk through what some of these samples are that I have in this course. This is adding a folder. You can put your content in a folder. This is an assignment. Ignore the name of it right now. This is just adding a direct link. This is adding a page, and this page is displayed in line. I will show how to do these things. This page is displayed in line. This is an example of if you are using Google Classroom, having it hubbed in your Schoology course. And we'll talk about why that's important when we get down there. Parent resources, we want to make sure we have something directed to our parents in our course content, no matter where that course is. Have a parent resource section. And then links to our remote learning plans. Now, I will get into, if time allows, how to add updates that have interactive images, embedded content, and again, if time allows, embedded videos. All right, so going back up to the top, in a completely empty course, Schoology support has their resources, and we have them as well. I really like Schoology's because it has like moving GIFs and things, and it's always the most up-to-date version. Support Schoology course building. I'm not going to walk you through this, but I do want to give you this guide just so you have it at your fingertips. You can all skip this how to create a course because we don't do that. We have the enterprise version. So we are going to skip down to course building. Where's course building? Course content. Oh. I went to the wrong one apparently. Sorry. All right, there we go. Content into my course materials. So I'm going to drop this in the chat for you just so that you have it handy. You're welcome, Teresa. I just saw that as I was dropping that in. All right. I just wanted to give you that resource from Schoology, and then there's one other resource. You guys should all be in the Tech Talk course. That's probably how you found this. Although it was brought to my attention that some of you aren't in Tech Talk and you found this from the Office of Curriculum's calendar. So if you're not in the Tech Talk course, you should join that. The join code for that is right here. I'm also going to copy that in. So you would click on courses, my courses, and join a course and go to Tech Talk. All right, course Tech Talk. All right. In the Tech Talk course, there is a link right in the main landing page in the materials. It's not a link, sorry, it's a folder, and it is the Schoology Resources. Guys, this will be one of your best friends. Between that and the Schoology support materials online, you really have at your fingertips everything you need to support you in your work. All right, so I'm putting the all-in-one guide, and then we're gonna get moving. All right, now you have everything you need at your fingertips. You should be in the Schoology Tech Talk course. That way you can get all the resources that we have for district purchased and approved technologies that we use. So anything that you want to learn about, especially the Schoology one. In the Schoology one, this all-in-one resource guide, this is going to be where you go to get the how-to guides for anything that I might show you today. All right, let me hop back to my course and talk about this add materials button. We're going to add materials. I do recommend that you organize your materials into folders. You can quickly have a very messy course on your hands if you don't get organized from the beginning. So if you're just getting started, and if you are just getting started, I know we're into the fourth week of remote learning, 5th week at home, but it's never too late to get started and organizing your coursework or to organize it on the back end. So you can add a folder, organize it either by theme or week, week 1, week 2, or week of April 13th. You can date them if you want. You can always edit it later, but add a folder, and then the content you can add directly from your course is an assignment, a test or quiz, an assessment, file, link, or external tool. They bundled those 3 together. When you click on it, it gives you the 3 separate options, and you select. File is exactly what it sounds like. You're adding a file like a Word document, PowerPoint slides, PDF, something from your computer. A link is a link to anything that's online. External tool are usually curriculum-based tools. We do have plenty of those. I'm not going into external tools in this session though. Discussion, I love this one. I think it's a #1 place to start for really definitely 2nd grade and up. I would even add discussions down in the primary grades and have a parent maybe give directions for the parent and how to participate, how to help their child participate. All right, a page, that's probably my favorite one for visuals. And I have a whole session on my YouTube channel about adding visuals. Media album is just like what it sounds like. It's a photo or video album. Package, I've never used it. Import from resources. So if you create your Schoology, if you open your Schoology course and you add a course image, add your profile image, and if you do nothing else, just click here on Add Materials and Import from Resources. We're going to do that one first. That's funny. Wasn't working. Okay. We're going to import from resources. Wow. So whenever I have errors, I just start closing my tabs I have open. That looked like it was a Schoology error, but I'm still just going to close my extra tabs I have open just to be sure. Let's try it again. Refresh. It did log me out. All right, let's try it again. What we're going to do is import from resources. This is my tip #1. You should pull in your copy of your remote learning packet from the district. Click on Add Materials, Import from Resources. All right, over in Resources, you can ignore this section. You can ignore this list. It's over here in Group. We're going to Group. Now it's not up here in this top group, so you can collapse that. It's under School Resources, under Cincinnati Public Schools, right there. The top link is 2020 Remote Learning Plans. And so let's say I teach 4th grade. I'm going to click that link, import, and I now have content in my course that aligns with our district initiative for remote learning, right there, Remote Learning Plans. If you need to reorder materials, you can just simply drag them and drop them. So you can reorganize. In my sample course, I've added a lot of things as examples. So if I needed this item inside of this folder, you just hover over it and drop it in. Same with this. So I could quickly organize my course. Remember what I said earlier? Let's get started with adding a folder. So I would add a folder ideally and then add my materials into that. I'd keep that remote learning plan right at the top of your course materials, just as a reference. All right, close this folder. Okay, so we looked at, in your add materials, we looked over the topics of the types of things that you can add, and then we just went through how to import from resources. Now, I showed you how to import the district remote learning packet, but I do want to show you that in Schoology, you can create a shared collection. So one of the things when I went over the debunking the myths, I just didn't want to waste time with that presentation today. People are maybe frustrated that they have to create everything themselves. Well, they don't. This is an example from at North Avondale Montessori. They started sharing their collections. So there's several examples of teachers who created some things and then shared them. Here's a collection I have called Sharing Samples. There's just all kinds of stuff in there. And then so you can create anything that you've built and share it out with your team. To do that, you would just create a collection, title it. I'm not going to create a new one because I have a lot. Let's use this one as an example. When you've got the resources in there, you can add resources. You can take resources from a course that already exists, and you can either take an item or an entire folder, save to resources, or you can actually take the entire course and save it to your resources. So let's say your teammate built this great course and you want the exact same setup in your course. Ask them if they'll share it with you. Here's how they do it. If I save my course to resources, this box comes up. Now home is just sort of my main landing page for resources, but if I created that selection to share, I can select that collection. So I name that one Sharing Samples. Name it something that makes sense for you. Now I'm going to select that. I can even select subfolders in there. I'm not going to do that right now. And I'm going to save it as a folder with resources. So it'll be Homeroom Sample Remote Learning, saving the whole course. Submit. Now in my resources, and it might take a little while to, I think it even warns you, it's a large operation because there's a lot of data in there. So it'll take a little while to show up in there. But eventually there will be a folder at the bottom of this. Yeah, it's not there yet. I think I just showed this not too long ago. So it'll show up just like this, the name of the course, and then every material that you had in that course will be there. So if I have that collection, I can share that out with anybody on my team. So I can just add people here from my team or from my connections. All right. So I veered a little bit off the original topics on the first presentation because this is what I got a lot of questions about. How do I just pull in collections, or how do I share with my team? I had a lot of people say that. And I had a few people call me during my office hours session and say, what were you talking about with sharing things? I also heard people asking me about how sharing their course. Like I always mention sharing your homeroom as an example, and that's called linking. It's in the all-in-one guide, and it's actually right here at the top of courses. You can change your section name, and you can link the sections. Now, because this isn't really about course building, we want to focus on building content. I'm not going to show all this stuff unless we get to the end for Q&A and I have more time. And please know, my plan is to stop with like 20 minutes left in this for Q&A because that's been a big request, is for me to take more questions. So I'm going to stop sooner. So I'm showing you where you can access these guides. All right, let's hop back into this course. I showed you how to pull in, import from resources. So you can pull in from the district resources. You can pull in from your curriculum teams, Math and Me, Early Childhood, ELA headquarters, whatever your curriculum team is. That is all, and all of their resources are, if you want to add them, it's just import from resources. The next one that I want to show is not actually add a page because I have so much training on that. I'm going to skip it. So if you've never been in one of my trainings before, just know that add a page is my favorite interactive, visually appealing material to add. And this here is an example of a page that was added. Images were added and they are clickable. Those clickable images open in new tabs, take the user right to their information, and it is displayed in line. So if we get to the end and you want me to show that, I will, but I feel like I've almost overtrained on this one, add a page. So I'm gonna go to my runner-up. My next favorite for remote learning is add a discussion. The reason why I really like discussions is because it's right away an interactive activity. I have done discussions with as young as first grade students. I think it just works nicely. I like the fact that I give them a prompt, whatever that is, and then they get to reply to it, and then that they can also reply to their peers. There are some settings that I can create on discussions. For example, I can add it a setting that they can't view others' posts until they post their own, so that they're not just copying the last person's ideas. So there's more robust settings I can add, but a discussion is just a nice interactive area where students can participate in an online discussion. So since we've lost our face-to-face time, I think it's important that we provide this in our class. So I'm going to call this sample classroom discussion. Okay. And then here's the cool part about this. Description, think of that as instructions. You're not describing the discussion to them, you're giving them their instructions. And what I like about materials in Schoology is there's all these rich text editing features. But if you already had a really good thing written up in something else like your Google Drive or on Word or whatever, you can just copy and paste and drop it right here. So you might have a really good discussion prompt, maybe from your teacher reading guide. Copy and paste that and drop it in. Don't reinvent the wheel. Your best friend is copy and paste. But here I would just give my directions, like what I want them to do. I do recommend, now that we are doing remote learning, that you have directions and for students. And then when you're done with your directions for students, you can put tips for parents or families, parents/caregivers. And the reason I would add that is because more than likely, if you are an elementary teacher, this is elementary course building, the students that you have working at home have an adult helping them. So it's helpful if you acknowledge that and put that right in their directions. You can also bump up the font to make it more friendly for little eyes or old eyes, depending on the audience. All right, give them their directions. And then at the bottom there, I do point out this is the editing bar, so we can add links right in here. I'm going to save this one for a minute. I'm just going over the basic nuts and bolts. You can add a file. So maybe you had a passage that you wanted them to read. Or a lot of us give checklists. Do this, then that. Or choice boards. Choose one of these three things. You can give them a link and have them go practice an activity online and then come back and add to your discussion. Never ever forget this wonderful, probably my favorite interactive button in here, audio video. So you can give them some video instructions. This is really great if you want to add sign language interpreting, maybe a foreign language translation. You could have somebody speaking it or just the teacher giving a message. You click on recording. It starts right away. It's up there in the corner. If you messed up, you can just hit stop, exit it, start over again. So again, I'm just going to start recording. Here we are. I'm recording a sample video for my discussion. And so whatever I need to say to the students, or maybe just a hello, maybe I will just verbally explain the assignment, or maybe I will tell them my response. I get a chance to preview it. I can insert that recording. I've tried to show that tool. That exists on updates, and it exists on everything in Add Materials for assignments, tests and quizzes, discussions. You can add that little microphone, and you can either put just audio only, so maybe you just want to speak the instructions, or you can add the video. All right, it's always great to add a due date. That puts it on their calendar or automatically. So I'll just say that I want them to have it done by next Friday. I can grade this if I want to. Now bear in mind that grading just means that I can be formatively assessing it It doesn't have to go in for the gradebook for a grade. I would select the category ungraded if I want to grade it. And then I can actually attach a rubric if I want, or just give them a point score. I can decide on my points up here. It assigns 100. I can change that to 10. Sorry. I can change that to 10 if I want. And then in here, I can get into quite a few things, quite a bit of grading that you can do in here. Now, I can give this to just a small group or even an individual student. Lock it if I don't want them to give submissions. Unpublish it if I was working on it and I got interrupted because I'm working at home and my family needs my attention. So maybe I don't want it to show yet. I can unpublish it. This one I like in discussions. This is a tool unique to discussions. This is the one I was talking about. Members can see others' responses before participating. That's the default. So if you don't click the button, they can see everybody's response. But if you want them to respond first before they see everybody else's responses, you just turn that on. You can see it's a little student with like a, if you look really closely, it is a student with a stoplight next to them. So they cannot see others' posts until they share their own posts. I like that one. All right. You can ignore this message for me. It does give you the option right when you're building it to copy it to another course. It doesn't let me show you that because I'm currently enrolled in more than 50 courses. You are not going to be. So if you click that button there, you would be able to copy it to your other courses. Just keep in mind that when you hit create, I would not copy it to my other courses until I know I'm done with it. And this is also why you might want to build in your resources first. But when I build that discussion, if I copied it to my course then, like if I go in and make changes on it now, it's going to change in this course. I have to change it manually in the other course. This is not Google, folks, so it's not changing it live for us. So just keep that in mind. Share it to your other courses when you know you're done with it. But make it simple. If you're just given a quick discussion prompt, you don't have to grade it. And you don't have to publish it until you're ready to put it out there. So there we go. Save changes. It's done. All right. The other one that I did not spend enough time in my last session, you can add a test or quiz and an assessment. This is a great way to gather formative data. Do not feel like you, just because we're not giving traditional grades right now, that you cannot use grading-based tools. You can just use it as formative assessment. Check in and see how they're doing. Are they understanding things or do they have questions? So use these tools. Steve Phelps has great PD sessions that are about adding assessments. So I try not to go too deep into those. All right. So I told you about add a page. We looked at a discussion, and we're next going to add an assignment. Okay. Keeps opening up weird for me, but all right. So here's my sample assignment. Call it whatever you want. You've got all the same options here. So make sure you give directions to students. And I am recommending that we have tips for parents, caregivers, as they look at this assignment. That's my personal tip. Not required. None of this is required. All right. So you can add your files, links, or you can import your, insert a video or audio right there. But in assignment, you've also got this option, Google Drive assignments. If you want to use a Google Drive assignment and you've never done it, like if you open your assignments and you don't have this button, you will have to go through the steps of connecting your Google Drive to Schoology. So again, for the sake of time, I'm going to save instead of showing everybody how to do that. You might already know how to do it, or you might not be interested. I'm going to wait until question time, and if somebody wants to see that specifically, I will. So throw that in the chat if you want to see that during question time. All right. Google Drive assignments is a button that if I have connected my Google Drive to Schoology and connected my assignments to Google Drive, you'll have to connect twice. I can click on this and it goes into my Google Drive. And then I can select a template that I already built. So those of you who are Google Classroom users, you actually have Google Classroom capabilities built into Schoology, but you can do more with it in here. All right. So I make a template folder. I've already previously made this. in my template folder. If you search up here, this is the other thing too, it does do your Google Drive in the, Schoology displays your Google Drive in the order of what you looked at most recently or what you've interacted with most recently. And so that can be a little annoying. You can search it though. So I put my search in here. I want to go to my templates, and you can see that I have a templates for Schoology assignments. I created that. All right, I'm just going to grab one of my templates I already have made. So whatever, if you are a Google Drive or Google Classroom teacher, you already know what I'm talking about with templates. I'm just taking a template that I made and I'm attaching it to my assignment. Now what it does is similar to Google Classroom. It creates a copy of your file for every student. Their name is on it. It is assigned to them. It's right there in Schoology. There is a copy that goes to their Google Shared Drive. They don't have to go in there to access it. They can access everything through Schoology, and you can grade and review right in Schoology. So this is your solution if you are using Google Classroom and you think it's easier to give assignments. It's actually just Google Drive assignments. I do have a training called Leveraging Scoogle, and it's the Schoology and Google integration and looking at the power of using that tool. I think just some people aren't aware of it. All right, all the rest of the features are the same. You can add a due date. You can grade it. You don't have to grade it. You can add a rubric. I love grading with rubrics, and I'm going to show you one example of this. So, but same settings down here. You can individually assign, give it to just one student or a small group of students. Or you can create a group, grading groups. You can lock it if you don't want them to submit. Unpublish it if you're not quite done working on this yet. And then here, copy to courses. All right, what did I do wrong? Oh, you do have to give it a category. So I'm going to mark it ungraded. Hit create. Okay, bear in mind, all new content drops to the bottom. So do you see why it's important to have your course organized? Mine's a big mess right now. All right, we added an assignment with Google Drive assignments. And then the last topic that I wanted to show was embedding videos into anything. So you can actually embed a video into you can embed a video right on your folder, into a page. You can embed a video into a discussion. So you can direct your students, watch this video, and then share and have them share whatever discussion prompt you want them to share. In updates, you can embed a video here. Now this one is a little harder to find. You have to do a link, and you can see it says link embed, so you can just add an embed code. So we can embed videos. I will show how to do that. And then I'm going to pause for questions. Oh no, I skipped an agenda topic, sorry. I'm going to show updates and adding content directly to your updates, and then I'm going to pause for questions. So quickly, I'm going to just pull up a YouTube video. Now, because I did not go over visuals as much, I'm going to link to my visual. Where is it? There we go. Schoology for primary is for you. I was talking to a primary audience. When I offer this next week, it will just be Schoology visuals for any grade level. Okay, so if I pull up my video, so let's pause for a minute. You want to add a video directly into your content. You don't want to just hyperlink out to it. You want to add the video and embed it into your content. If you go to the video in YouTube, that's the example I'm showing, right click on the video, copy embed code. So it's that fourth option down, copy embed code. There, click on copy embed code. Go back to Schoology. We are going to embed that video on that discussion that I just made. So I'm going to hit edit. So my directions are view this video and then tell us what you think, whatever, what you think about the video, or how this changed the way you think of things, or however it relates to your content. All right, so I've got my cursor in my place where I want to embed the video. Up here at the top, I go to insert content. Now in my visual training, I get heavily into adding images like the picture tiles that I showed on the page. that you would just attach a file right there. But we got that video off the web. So I'm going to go to from the web. And you'll notice here that it says link for image, but I want to add a video. So I'm going to click media. Now that changes to link/embed. You may not have noticed it, but I right-clicked here and I copied the embed code. And so I'm back here in Schoology and I'm just pasting that code. Hit insert media and it is done. And you get a yellow preview of what the screen will be. You can shrink it. You just click on it. Again, all I did was click on it, select it as blue, and then I can make it larger or smaller. When I hit save or create, now that video is embedded right into the discussion. So what's really great is I can tell my students, view this video and then do whatever. They can watch it here right in Schoology. They don't have to go to another platform. I have tested this on mobile. It works great. So that was embedding videos. You can do that to any material. If I go back up to my material menu, oh, and I've got 2 minutes left. I think I'm gonna hit my goal for my agenda. You can embed videos on assignments. You can embed a video directly on a test or quiz item, so they can watch this video or video clip and then answer the question. Same with assessment. File link external tool, that is not a material that's adding something, so we can't embed on there. You can link to the video if you don't want to embed it. I just showed you embedding it on a discussion. You can also embed it in a page. And then the next one I'm going to show you is updates. I'm just going to say that you should, I'm going to skip this one unless questions come up. That was adding visuals to updates. But updates alone, you can write in your message and you can add links like out to a website, out to a video, so you don't have to embed it. You can add in files like a PDF or a Word document or a PowerPoint. And then you can even insert that video. So those buttons are all here. Here's where I write my text, my message. I can control the font a little bit. There's less features here. Insert content, it doesn't say insert media, but I can add that file right there. This link, this is where I could drop that embed code and hit attach. Okay. And you'll notice the video icon shows up a little bit differently. And then this is the microphone right here. So I feel like I've kind of been over all of those tools already in our materials. So it's add a file, add a link, add the video recording, or you can even, in updates, you can add a poll. Now a poll is not any kind of, you're not giving a test, you're not gonna see who responded. A poll is simply that. So you can say, you know, how are we all feeling today? Or, you know, have you been outside today? Yes or no? Or what's your favorite ice cream? So a poll is just to engage them. You can add that option as well. So answer 1, 2. When I hit post, that is the embedded video. So when I click it, it opens up and it opens up the right size for the screen. So again, that's adding the video without linking them out to another tab or out to another source. And that hits all the items I had for my agenda to show. And I wanted to give 20 minutes for answering questions. So looks like I did it. All right, Ashley, I know we've got questions. Let's tackle them.
Yes. Okay. The first one is Teresa. She is a specialist, and she would like to post things to her students in Schoology. I mentioned that she should partner with her classroom teachers, but she has up to 20 teachers. And so I'm not sure what's the best way for her to reach her students on Schoology. And Teresa, please jump in if I was incorrect.
Let's do this, Teresa. Go ahead and unmute. I think I'm gonna speak out loud a little bit here while you get yourself unmuted. Are you a reading or math specialist or ELL?
I do gifted intervention for all first, second, and third graders.
Gifted.
Next year it'll be third, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
Well, if you're doing gifted intervention for first through third graders, it does sound like possibly creating your own course is possibly your best bet. Most of the time for our specialists like reading and math, they're working on specific content and it makes sense to tie them with a content area teacher. Or if you have a smaller caseload just across 1 or 2 classrooms, makes sense to join with them because they're already there. But if you are seeing 3 different grade levels of students for gifted enrichment, I would actually recommend that you go into our Schoology Resources, and I can drop the link for you. It was under the Schoology Resources and CPS Tech Talk. And then you need a new course created, fill out this form. Let me drop that link for you right now, so you have it. But yeah, for gifted intervention specialists, you should probably just create your own course. And then let me just ask this important question, Teresa. Are all your students in your build, like you see students in one building or multi-building?
Yeah, one
Okay.
building.
Okay. And the reason I ask that is because if you see them across multiple buildings, we'd have to indicate that. I have to look back on the form and make sure if that's in there or not. But since they're all in your class, once the admin creates your course for you, then you can just go into your course in Schoology. You can add that picture, and then Teresa, you can just click on members. And what you're going to do, I worked with gifted intervention specialists at SANS. We did this a couple years ago. You add members, and you just start typing in your students' names, and you add them manually yourself. But then your course will appear for them. So you do have a unique situation, but then all the rest of the course building tips I just gave you, you can use all of those. But yeah, it's for your content specifically, my recommendation is that you request to have a course created.
So most of the teachers, they're doing all different things. First grade is using a website. Second grade is, they're all over the place. Third grade is using Google Classroom regularly. How do I get the information, get the kids to my site? Or like how, if they're not using Schoology, how would I get them to there?
Yeah, so during this time, what we can do is we can support you with the tools we have in the district and definitely give you recommendations. My recommendation is that everybody hub in Schoology, because Schoology gives our parents a one-stop to access all their child's teachers and all, not just one child, but all the children that they have in the district, so all the siblings. So it's just a great place to hub it. And then that teacher who's using a website should link out to their website in their Schoology course. The teacher who wants to use Google Classroom, I did show in my course, I had that at the bottom. It's not real pretty, but I have a link, and my recommendation is that you add a page. You give them information about using Google Classroom, directions for students, tip for parents, and then just link to your Google Classroom. I think Google Classroom is a great tool, but we want to remember that our parents and students at home, it's most helpful if they can go to one location and get all their information. And we are recommending that hub be Schoology. Just a recommendation. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You can go ahead and mute. And then Ashley, what's our next question?
Can you also show how to link your Google Drive to materials?
Yes, I will show that. All right. To link your Google Drive, and I just do want to remind you that all of those, everything we're going over is in this guide. Ashley, could you pull the Google Drive or linking your Google Drive from this and drop it in the chat while I show it, please?
Yes, I did that already, but I will do it again.
She's just awesome. She's always doing the thing that I'm asking for, and she's already done it 10 minutes ago. That's just Ashley Badgett. That's how she works. All right. If I go in as a teacher, go into your resources. If you've never connected your Google Drive to Schoology, and click on resources. All right, over to the very far left. Earlier we looked at group for pulling resources into our course, but we're going to go down here to apps. You click on apps. CPS has installed the Google Drive resource app for everybody. So if you were to Google this on Schoology, they'll tell you to install the app. You don't have to do that. You just go to resources, apps, and the Google Drive resource app. Now I will disconnect mine so I can show you what it looks like when you first go in. 1 second. Okay, so when you click on Google Drive resource app, before you have connected it, you will see this. So you just sign into your account. I do want to note that anytime you work with any Google products, it is best if you are using the Chrome browser and signed in and sync is turned on. Because when I do that, watch this. I click connect. I just have to select my account, and then the sync is taking care of it for me in the background. I didn't have to enter my information. I didn't have to enter my password. All right, I give Schoology permission to link with my Google Drive. So we click allow. And then it pulls my Google Drive into my resources. Then within an assignment, the first time that you create an assignment and you click this Google Drive assignment button, you will have to give assignments permission to attach to your Google Drive. I haven't seen a way for me to undo that. There was supposed to be one, but I don't see it right now. Anyway, so I can't show you that right now. I have slides on it, but I'd rather answer more questions than show that. You'll just have to go through that authentication process one more time in the assignment. So that was adding your Google Drive to Schoology. All right, next question, Ashley.
Can you explain, I know you've already done this, but for Kimberly, can you explain the reason for using Google Classroom versus Schoology?
Well, let me clarify. I'm not personally recommending that you use Google Classroom. Before we had Schoology at our district, I have used Google Classroom in the past, and it has some great benefits. Some people are already using it and they're more comfortable with it. So my recommendation is if you're already using Google Classroom, please at least hub it in Schoology so that our students and parents do have one place that they have to go by downloading the Schoology app. That gives everybody one location, and then every teacher, whether it's a class website or Google Classroom, their information is linked in one place. So let me be really crystal clear. I'm actually not recommending that you use Google Classroom. I'm just highly aware that many of you do already use it. So if you do, I'm suggesting that you link it in. So just to clarify that for you, Kimberly, I am not actually recommending you use Google Classroom. Google Classroom is a really great online classroom. It's a great tool and it's free from Google. I really like it. But we have purchased a learning management system in Schoology at the district. Previously, we had Blackboard. Some of the other ones you might use at the university level, Canvas. There's a lot of different learning management systems. But a learning management system, because we have the enterprise version, our courses are all already created and auto-rostered through PowerSchool. Our students are already assigned a secure login from the district. Parent accounts are created in the back end already. And so the parent can connect not only to you in your individual class, but they can be connected to their child in every class that they are in and every sibling they have in the district. So it is just a more powerful tool. When we add to that the power of connecting our gradebook to PowerSchool and grades auto-syncing and not having to enter those, it's a more robust, powerful tool. So I recommend that everybody use Schoology. But I also know that we have to meet you where you are. And if you're a Google Classroom user, then we show you how you should link that in Schoology so that parents and students have one location. All right, any other questions? Oh yeah, is there a way for parents and students? Let's see that one. Kimberly, I just went to the bottom because I didn't hear another question. Ashley, was there anything that I needed to get to before? Otherwise, I'm just going to hop into the chat.
I answered things regarding, she asked if students use Clever versus Schoology to access Google Classroom. Clever, I would recommend using Clever first because they can access so many other tools that the district has pushed out. But they can get to your Google Classroom through Schoology as well. So it's kind of whatever your preference is.
Yeah. And just keep in mind that this PD session was on using Schoology. So I'm kind of more focused on that. The only time I showed Google Classroom was to show how to link to it. I didn't get any Google Classroom details. But the Clever question, again, I say this in every training. I know that for those of you who have been in more than one of mine, you know. But for those of you who don't, I recommend you use the Chrome web browser when you're doing your work, that you are signed in and syncing to Chrome. So you click on your user profile or the head and shoulders, and it should say sync is on. Okay. Then if you are, the district has pushed out the Clever extension to your browser on your BOE account. So if you click on that icon, it opens up Clever for you. All right, I was actually in as another teacher earlier. You know that? Okay. Takes me into my Clever account. You go into the portal. And then every application we have in the district that is district purchased and many that are approved, there's a tile for that, and it logs you in, or they're categorized, excuse me, by how you log in. So Clever is just an excellent tool. And if you go to clever.com/in/CPS-K12, or just click the shortcut on your browser, then you can go to Schoology and it'll log you in the right way. And then all the other apps that are in there, it takes you right to the correct login. So yeah, I do recommend using Clever.
Rosemary, do you know if we'll be having PDs for Clever?
So two things. One, I know that we've got some people on our team, and we do our scheduling based on feedback we get in the form, and then training requests that we get in the training request form. So we're scheduling this based on request and need. But Clever Academy has their full training as self-paced, available and free online. And then if you get the Clever Academy badge, you can earn contact hours in our certificate course. So with us only having 6 minutes left, I'm just going to tell you, for Clever, I recommend the Clever Academy for your training. And then, if you need further support after that, then you could contact us on the training form. So I think that their online program is so great that you probably don't need us for that. But that's not to say we won't have a Clever training. We are scheduling these as we go, folks. All right, so keep an eye on our virtual PD offerings menu. Any other questions? Ashley, was there any more I skipped?
I'm just looking through here. I don't think so, unless someone, I think we can open up to the group now.
Yep, we've got 5 minutes left, so we can unmute, and we've done this at the end of a couple of my sessions where we're calling it popcorn questions. First one to speak, everybody just kind of back up and let whoever jumps in first go. So go ahead and unmute and ask your questions.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm looking to build a course that stands the test of time. So is there a way to have an assignment that when students complete that one assignment, the next assignment would open for them?
Yes, that is an awesome question. And that's getting into some advanced course building. I believe we've had a Schoology 2.0, Schoology Basics 2.0, but I love adding course completion rules or completion rules. So if you created your items, let me go to this folder, right? And I create this folder, I can add student completion rules to this folder. So right in here, I can click student completion, and then I can add a requirement. Now, when I add these requirements, just takes the first item. So let's say, I opened a messy sample course, but I can put these in the order that they are built in. So I'm right now, I'm just dropping them in the order that they appear. Okay, so I've added the requirements matching up to what's in here. And then I can say requirements must be completed in sequential order, which is great if you want them to do task 1, then task 2, then task 3. I have also done this before, though, where I don't turn that button on because I want them to do all the tasks, but I'm giving choice in what order they do them. So just keep that in mind. You can either make it be sequential or not. And then you set the criteria, the completion rule. So for this whole folder, I could say that the member must complete all the work in that folder. For this assignment, I can say that they could either just view it, that they just have to submit it, or that they score at least. If I'm grading it, I might say that they score at least 70 out of 100, or whatever criteria you want to put. For the discussion, it does, you'll notice it gives you an option based on what the type of item is. So they can just view it, Or I can say before they move on, they have to post and reply. All right, and then you can just continue. Like a link, obviously the only thing that you can ensure is that they viewed the item, because links take them outside the platform. So the only completion rule we can put on a link is that they view it. And view just means that they clicked on the link. If I hit save changes, now I've added that completion rule to this folder. And then here's what's really cool. I now have this button student progress, and I can see how my students have done in progressing. I would have my whole roster, and it would show me their percentage of completion. And then I can even click on that, and it shows me what items they've completed. So completion rules is awesome. And also just huge kudos to you for saying that you want to build a course to stand the test of time. Go Mary.
Thank you. That's very cool.
Yeah. All right, other questions?
Yes, I have a question. What is the link for CEUs?
You mean to earn your contact hours? We can't get CEUs, but we are tracking contact hours. And so that is in the chat. Ashley has dropped that link. It's right.
Yep.
I
just added it again.
Yep, feedback form. So the feedback form is for contact hours and feedback.
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, hey folks, it's 1:59, so I am gonna stop us at 2 o'clock. If somebody wants to shout out their last question, you're more than welcome. Okay, well, this was a little bit more of a quiet group, but my hope is that it's because it was well explained and you understand all the content that was shared. Please do keep in mind that as you complete your contact hours form, that you, I'm waiting for it to load, that if you want the contact hours, you do have to put your first and last name and your employee ID number. If you scroll down, complete all the information, but this was today, it was the 1 o'clock session. The type of training was join virtual PD video conference. If you are watching this later on my YouTube channel, it is viewed a recorded virtual PD session. This was a 1 hour session, so the first option here. Trainers that held your session, Ashley Badgett was moderating the chat, and I am Rosemary Jane. Give us your ratings here, and then please add your questions or comments to this area. It's optional, but just so you're aware, the link to our virtual PD offering schedule is right there, and next week has been added with some tentative placeholders. Don't forget there are evening sessions tonight, video creation tools, and I did tell my the group earlier, my more to come. It is just going to be a Q&A catch-all. I'm going to answer all the questions I can. I just got to put the link in there. So tonight, if you are joining at 8 p.m., it is just going to be a live Q&A on all these sessions. That is what I've been overwhelmingly asked to do. All right. So complete that feedback form. Oh, and if you need training and it's not on that menu and what I've just shared doesn't work for you, keep in mind that if you need further training, the training request form is right there. With that, I'm going to thank you for your time this afternoon and ask you to please, well, first I'm going to stop the recording. Please hang up your screen